Good morning, Grunts. Welcome back to another episode. Today, I want to talk about marriage versus long-term dating or long-term dating versus marriage. Why I would pick one over the other and my experiences with both. And going to make this video a little brief, so I may not cover all the details that you guys may have questions about. But anyways, here we go. For those of you that don't know already, for just tuning in, I was married for 19 and a half years. I got married. I was in the Marine Corps. I got married about a year out of the Marine Corps, and I was married for the next 19 and a half years. I had two wonderful sons from that marriage. And my wife and I decided to divorce July of 2020. So this coming July will be 5 years I've been divorced. And since my divorce, I have dated two women, including the one I'm dating now, post-divorce. Um, what are my thoughts or my opinions on either one? And again, this is coming from my experience. If I had to choose one or the other, I would choose the long-term dating. And the reason being is when you get married, there are three entities involved in your marriage. Uh, First marriage is, or the first entity obviously is you. The second one is your wife. And the third, believe it or not, boys and girls, especially boys, is the state. Once you get the government involved in your affairs, nothing good will come out of that. And what do you mean by that? Well, what I mean by that, and the and I don't want to come across as anti-marriage because I'm not anti-marriage. On the other hand, I'm anti-divorce. I don't I have a very strong love-hate relationship with family court. And I'm saying because I've been through it. My divorce wasn't harsh by any stretch of the means. And just to break it down, my wife didn't want alimony, which is great. I think alimony is a fucking joke in today's society when more women are into the workforce faster than men are. Alimony is just that should be off the fucking table. Child support, I understand to an extent. I don't totally agree with how child support is administered. I've been through a child support modification that was not fun, not fun at all, guys. And I've got a video where I talked to you or share with you my experience through child support modification. You can watch that video. Just go through the library. And my experience wasn't very fun. And so while I will go back and say, and I will happily admit that some of my best years were being married. I don't deny that. I got to watch, my sons be born. I got to watch them grow up, done a lot of fun things as a family. But over time, things change. And long story short, there, we decided to get divorced. Okay. Um, Guys, the statistics are there. Um, you could look at, I believe right now the divorce rate is hovering around 60%. So 6 out of 10 marriages are ending in divorce. Now, if you take 10 of those divorces and you break it down even further, 8 to 9 of those are initiated by women. And if we wanted to go down a little further, if that woman has a college education, that's roughly 100% rate there that educated women are divorcing. And reason being is if a woman's got her own job, she can provide for herself, she's stable, she doesn't necessarily need a man. She doesn't need to be married. And I think some of the field reports I get and from other people I talk to, a lot of people are opting out of marriage, and for various reasons. For a man, it's a man, he's not afraid to get married, but he's afraid to get divorced. Okay. When you look at how unfairly men are treated in family court, it's just it's unreal. I mean, I got to experience just a little bit of it, but I've known guys to get the full on gamut of the family court treatment. And so, and suicide rates are a lot higher amongst divorced men than single men because what happens in divorce, and if you're a man that survived the full brunt of family court, you can easily testify and say, yeah, you are essentially, you could be a 40-year-old man and all of a sudden you are financially reset to a 19-year-old kid. Because what happens is you are forced out of your home. You might even have a few false domestic violence allegations against you that she falsely, that she made false allegations to. Okay. You're going to lose half your assets and probably over half your finances. And then it doesn't end there. You might have to pay. Oh, I think most states are 50% alimony. So if you were married for 20 years, then you would have to pay your ex-wife 10 years worth of alimony at a set dollar amount every month. So you're essentially paying a woman that you're not fucking. But most guys aren't getting regular sex from their wives anyway, so it's kind of a it's a fucked up situation. And then you add kids on top of that, and then you get, like most guys, including myself, you get every other weekend visit, parenting time with your kids. So you're also being abandoned from your children. Your kids are taken away from you. And so I wouldn't, as much as I support marriage and I think marriage is a great thing, guys, I don't want to come across as anti-marriage because I'm not. I just don't like how family courts treat men in divorce. We're treated unfair. It's the playing field is not level there, and women know it. They really do, guys. So when you get married, she can end that marriage at any fucking time, and she will harm you to no end in divorce. Like I said, a lot of guys, and it's sad. A lot of guys are self-deleting themselves, all for what? The wife got unhappy one day and she files for divorce, and then she says, "Well, I'm going to clean your clock while I'm at it." And this guy is reduced to having, nothing. And what do some guys do? They can't. They look at there's no hope, and so they end up taking their own lives, and it's very sad. And so when you look at the dating side, you don't have the legal binding agreement with the state than you do in a marriage. So essentially, when you're dating, you or her have the right to leave when you want. The state doesn't decide, who keeps the house, who gets what assets, who gets what percentage of the finances, and then, oh, well, now we think we need to pay her, $900 a month in alimony or whatever. You don't get that in the dating situation. But however, guys, and I will say this, however, if there are children involved in a long-term relationship, meaning outside of marriage, there's, kids born out of wedlock, for example, child support can and will be um, granted to the baby mama. And that's the only way you're going to be involved in family court is if there are children involved. If you and her cannot agree on a parenting plan or a way where you can both support the kids equally and fairly, then more than likely family court will be involved in for the children, that is. You won't necessarily worry about losing your home or losing half your shit in a dating situation. But if you have kids, guys, when you have kids and you're not married, you are subject to child support. So once you stick your weenie in that girl and you roll her up inside her, you are now subject to child support, regardless of you married or not. That doesn't change. But with dating, you have the option. And like I said, it's great to have the options out there when you're dating, not just in women in general, but you have the options of keeping everything. She's got her money, you got your money. Money doesn't combine. You get separate loans. If she wants to buy a new car, she can buy a new car under her name. If you want to buy a new vehicle, you buy it under your name. You're not co-signing for each other's loans. You're not using her income to boost your worth, or she's not using your income to boost her worth. It's everything is separate. So it's like if the GF wanted to bring a new car home, oh hey, great, babe, that's a nice looking car. She didn't really have to talk to me about it. Same with me. If I want to buy a new car, I go buy a new car or whatever, and I bring it home and, oh, why'd you buy that? You know, I have no say in what she does with her money. She has no say in what I do with my money. As long as our bills are paid every month, that's great. Because one thing you learn with married couples, a lot of married couples fight over money. I think money and cheating is what ends a lot of marriages. And I think, and I'm not quite sure if money is number one or number two, but finances and money are the number one causes, pretty close to the top cause of divorce nowadays, because a lot of married couples live way outside their means. They get married and they buy the McMansions, and then they have to buy the latest and greatest, newest vehicles. When people get married, they think, "Oh, great, it's a common. We can combine our resources. I work, she works. We have a joint bank account. We could." They think it gives you more buying power, in which case a lot of those people take advantage of the increased availability of resources from both husband and wife. Which is not necessarily it's not a good thing, because what happens in divorce, now you have to untangle from all that. You have to, when you get divorced, you essentially are closing bank accounts and reopening bank accounts under your name. And she's doing the same thing. In any auto loans you have, it's like, okay, how do we, and luckily for me, we didn't have any debt to split, other than just, I think, a small amount of credit card debt was all, but we split that. But we didn't have auto loans. We didn't have any, we didn't have any mass amounts of debt that we had to split. Whereas a lot of married couples do. A lot of married couples live and they survive on debt. Whereas if you are dating, and if you're both financially responsible, you never have to worry about debt. But again, like me, I'm financially responsible. And let's say I date a woman that's not financially responsible, but as long as she can pay her bills and service her debt, I don't give a fuck, because I'm not responsible for her debt. So there's, like I said, to me, there's more advantages to dating or an LTR than there is marriage. Like I said, both people in a dating situation have if you're not happy, you break up and you move on. Okay. Now, when you're married and you're not happy, and in this case, a lot of marriages, there are people that they uh they live their lives unhappy, essentially because it's like, well, I could get divorced, but I'm gonna get fucked. So I guess I'll just, and I've known people like that, and I still know people like that. They're miserable in their marriage because they're scared of divorce. And I don't blame them. I mean, I don't blame them a bit. From the field reports I get, it's like, yeah, I don't. I'm like, I don't know about that. And I'm the guy that I did bite the bullet, went through divorce. And I mean, my experience wasn't that bad, but other stories I've heard are just horrible. I think let's just put it this way: everybody's experiences vary. Everybody has a different experience. So, um, but yeah, guys, if I had the choice between, and if I known then what I know now, I would have never gotten married. Let's just put it that way, because I would have chose the long-term dating scenario. And guys, one thing I've learned over the years is the 30, 40, 50 plus year marriages are getting to be uh rare nowadays. I've known long-term relationships that last longer than most marriages do, because you, as a dating couple, you work harder at it. Yeah, you get comfortable with it, but the comfort level isn't nearly as high as it is in a marriage. So I remember being married, and I got comfortable in my marriage. I got kind of lazy. She did the same thing. She got comfortable. She got lazy. She started putting on weight, and yeah, it's you know, marriage kind of let's say dating keeps things a little more exciting. And so for me, I choose dating than I would over marriage. Now, if things changed in family court, if family court changed how they conducted business with divorces and stuff, and if men were being treated more fairly in divorce, yeah, I'd be more open to marriage. But right now, I don't see marriage in my future. However, I could see a long-term relationship with a woman very as a very high option. And so think about that, guys. When you are dating somebody, a lot of women, they say, "Well, I'm dating with intent." Well, intent for what? Well, I want to get married. A woman that's got two or three kids from two or three baby daddies. Now she wants to get married. Well, how come we didn't marry any of those three guys? You know? And when a woman says, "Well, I'm dating with the intent of getting married," that's a red flag, guys. That is a red flag because she knows what's up. Because she knows that when she gets married, now she's got a guaranteed, she's guaranteed to win in divorce. So she's guaranteed that supplemental income and alimony or child support at the back end. So also keep that in mind, guys. So that's it for today. If you guys got any questions, comments, concerns, you can leave a comment down below in the video and I'll try to answer you as soon as I can. But otherwise, grunts, have a great day and we'll catch you on the next one. Toodles.